Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your girl time with your Dyke Life, and y'all know what time it is. It is time for another lesbian love letter. And today this is lesbian love letter number 16. All right. If you haven't seen the previous love letters, I suggest you go back. I have it in a nice, neat playlist for you all, as well as if you find yourself in a situation or a relationship where you need an older lesbian's advice, go ahead and hit me up, dykelifepodcast@gmail.com. And all information or people within the letter will stay confidential, including who sent the email. All right. Make sure you all hit the thumbs up button, help get me into the algorithm. And mind you, I'm here on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and X. All right, y'all ready to go? Let's go. All right. Dear Dyke Lyfe, I attend a progressive church that claims to welcome LGBTQ folks. They smile when I introduce my wife until they really saw her. She's a proud stud with face tattoos, locks, and an unapologetic presence. Since then, we've gotten weird energy. No one talks to her after service. She's asked not to wear what? Mas- She's asked not to wear masculine clothing. It hurts because I grew up in this church. They'll accept a quiet, feminine queer, but not one who challenges gender roles. My wife wants to leave, and I feel torn between standing by her and holding on to my spiritual home. Is it possible to change a space from the inside, or do I follow my wife and find somewhere else to grow? Sign spiritually split. All right, spiritually split. I'm probably the last person that you want to ask regarding church, because just being open and transparent, I don't understand gay people, or as you say, queer people, going into a church, because church, Christianity, most religions don't like gay folks. And from the foundation of their books, all right? Now, the people in the church might, but the basis that the whole religious principle on does not like gay people, right? But like I said, the people in it have tweaked it and turned it around to where they're accepting of it. All right. So that's gonna be my first suggestion, is to find, and you don't need to go to church to find God and to develop a spiritual life. That would be the second thing. Um, and you don't need the Bible to obtain a spiritual life or a spiritual presence with God. All right. So I'm just going to leave that there, but I did have to add that to my response. Now, the church that you and your wife are going to sounds like they don't like gay folks. All right. Because if they did, they would accept people as they are. Right? And all gay women aren't cute, pretty little femmes, right? There are studs or masculine presenting lesbians and bisexuals, and there's just a range, a spectrum of LGBT, right? I would imagine that they probably feel the same way about feminine presenting men, right? So either you're going to accept the people or you're not going to accept the people. And it sounds like they're not accepting your wife. And if they're not accepting your wife and you're ignoring her, y'all get, you said you're getting weird energy, they're probably looking crazy. Um, they're not as progressive as you would like to think, right? So, I'm with your wife. I think you all should leave. I'm sure there are some churches out there that are more accepting than your church, right? You asked, is it possible to change a space from within? Either they are or they aren't. And if they aren't accepting, they're just not. And I think you have to be okay with that. And I think that you and your wife should go somewhere else to grow. You can't put limitations or requirements or conditions on a person and say that you accept them when what they're doing is not bothering you, right? How she presents herself don't have nothing to do with nobody in the church. If she feels comfortable in wearing men's clothes, she feels comfortable wearing men's clothes. It doesn't, what's probably happening, which is their problem, not a y'all's problem, is that her masculine presenting is threatening to the men who probably don't feel like real men. And if they have a problem with it, they probably aren't real men because what another person does don't have nothing to do with you. Like Jay-Z say, what you eat don't make me shit. And that's the same situation in this situation, right? So I implore you to leave that church immediately because they're on some bullshit. And I'm not going to get into my little tangent on the churches, but then I will also reiterate that if you and your wife uh, seek a spiritual experience, seek God, however you may see God. But I mean, okay, so I'm gonna add this too. The God of the Bible is very misogynistic and really don't like women. I'm not gonna go into my whole religious and biblical uh, diatribe. I'm not gonna do that. But what I will say is, speak, seek a level of spirituality with your wife, right? Looking into other books that speak of spirituality and the power that's within who we are naturally, who we were born to be, as opposed to everything saying that everything that you do is a sin, right? That your church is like, oh well, we'll accept you as long as you don't remind us that you're gay. No, that's bullshit. That is absolutely positive bullshit. Even I'm trying to think, does it even say in the Bible come as you are, or was that some words? Because there's a lot of sayings that's not biblical, and I had to touch myself so much from the Bible I can't remember what portion of what it says. But again, if they can't accept you all for who you are, then I do believe that you should follow your wife, right? She's your wife. She is your partner. She is your better half. And if they aren't accepting of that, they're not accepting of you because you are two individuals that have become. So I'm not going to go on and on about this, even though I have plenty more to say. I'm just going to leave it like that. And I hope that answers your question. Spiritually split. And I do hope that you find the spiritual path and the spiritual strength and the inner strength and power that you need. And I wish you all the best. All right. You all make sure to hit the thumbs up button on the way out. And I will chat with you all later. All right. Salute, salute.